Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about what you should expect if you're coming to France or Europe to attend business school in 2020, and what you should know if you're thinking of applying into the 2021 intake as well. At the end of the video, I'm also going to answer, as usual, a couple of questions from the comments on my previous videos, so stay tuned for that too. Also, I'm sorry for making this video so late, but I really wanted to see where things are going and think about things really clearly before making a video on this topic. Alright, so what you should know, what is the current situation in France right now? Almost everything has reopened. Bars, restaurants, cinemas, gyms. Even the Louvre recently reopened after 4 months of it being closed. People are outside, but when they're in the metro or when they're inside at restaurants, they all wear a mask. And there's mandatory hand sanitization at most stores on entering. Unrestricted travel within France and also within the Schengen countries is also now mostly allowed. In other words, for the better or the worse, we're gonna know that only later. Things seem to be pretty much back to normal. I've also been going out and meeting my friends while maintaining social distancing and wearing a mask. Very recently, we also got an email from HEC saying that we will be going back to campus at the end of August, and that classes will be held through a combination of online and offline synchronous and asynchronous methods, while maintaining social distancing and other safety measures. It is also confirmed that France will be allowing all international students into the country as long as they have valid admission into the fall semester. But the quarantine requirements and restrictions are currently unknown. So now the big question is, if you've got admission, should you come this year? Okay, so let me preface this by saying that nobody can predict the future. And all of what I'm saying is just my opinion and my sense of things. And I also reserve the right to change my opinion at any given point of time. Business programs are 2 to 3 years long. So if you come this year, you won't be graduating before 2022 or 2023 if you choose to take a gap year. And that is a long time away. But if you do come this year, things are not gonna be the same as what they have been all these years. So what might change? So even if the classes are on campus and you're living on campus, all the career events and all the other social networking and professional networking events are all going to be online. There also probably won't be many, if any, on-campus events with outside guests and large gatherings. I also don't see that many big parties happening on campus either on the social networking front. This might be just for the first semester, but things might change in the second semester. But no one really knows, because there might be a second wave and we can't predict that again. However, all that being said, I personally don't think that your experience will be all that bad if you do choose to come this year. For sure, it won't be the traditional experience, but nothing in 2020 so far has been really traditional. I do believe that we'll find unique ways to get through the challenges that we're gonna face, as we have done so far this year already. And I think we're also starting to realize that many things already required or would benefit from a new way of working anyway. Let's look at networking, for example. Most of us do our networking on LinkedIn. And I think even when we're on campus, even when we're in business school and everything is online, we're going to continue to do our networking on LinkedIn. And I think people are going to be a lot more open to doing more video chats online this year than they would have been last year. So I think we're going to get even better at it. So over the last few months, I've been actively networking on LinkedIn, and I can say that I've met a lot of amazing people online. And I've also been able to create quite genuine connections. And yeah, the career events on campus were super cool to attend with all the free snacks and champagne. But even if they're online, I'm sure that they're gonna find a way to do them in a way that we will still benefit greatly from them. Probably no free champagne though. As for the career prospects, many companies have frozen hiring currently, but most hiring freezes are till early 2021. So when you're looking for your gap year internship or a summer internship, most hiring freezes should have ended by then already. And also even right now, when I go through LinkedIn or when I go through Job Teaser, which is HEC's job platform, I still see a lot of internships and a lot of CDD and CDIs being offered. So things are actually not as bad at the current moment, and I don't really see them becoming worse in the future. But again, no one can predict the future, so yeah, this is just what I feel right now. In France, mass layoffs did not happen the way they did in the United States. The French government spent 45 billion euros to pay employers not to lay off workers, as it would have cost them more in unemployment benefits had a lot of people gone unemployed. I've linked the New York Times article which speaks about this in the description below. So with that aid, many workers went into partial unemployment. It's called chômage partiel, in which the government paid 84% of the salary till their employer started back up. So all this being said, we never know when or if a second wave might come in, so things can change at any time. Things can become much better or things can become much worse, and no one can say. But I personally believe that, that applies not just now, but that applies anytime. So, the people coming last year, They thought it was a good year to come, but it turned out to not be such a good year to graduate. So you can't really predict the future, but I think you can assess the pros and cons, and it's really important to know what you're getting into. One question that a lot of people also ask me is, should I apply for the 2021 intake? And honestly, I really don't see a reason not to apply for the 2021 intake, and that's basically the application season that's starting this year. In the best case, you get admission and things are looking good, and then you choose to come, and then you graduate in 2023 or 2024, depending on whether you take a gap year. And that's a long time away. And in the worst case, you do get admission, but things are looking really bad, and then you just choose not to come, and you don't really lose anything. You lose the application fee that you spent, yeah, but that's pretty much it. If you give the GMAT this year, your score is also valid for 5 years, so you can also reapply anytime in the future. So yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're considering of applying for the 2021 intake, I think go ahead, don't really think much about it, and just apply. And when it comes to deciding whether to go or not, that's a decision you can take at a much later stage. Cross that bridge when you come to it. So in this section, I'm going to answer some of the questions that I was asked in the comment section on my previous videos. I'm going to answer questions based on student societies, campus residences, why I switched from engineering to management, and I'm going to touch up a bit on whether you should study in India or whether you should come to Europe to study management. Alright, so the first question is about student societies at HEC Paris. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but in my first year, I joined this amazing student club called KIP. And this was a student media body on campus. And I was helping out with filming and editing videos for them. But most importantly, I made a lot of friends in this club. And in particular, a lot of French friends. We went on a couple of trips together, which were amazing and a lot of fun. And the guy who started it is actually one of my really good friends in Paris right now. To be really frank, while the professional societies on campus, like the consulting club or the finance club, are quite international, a lot of other casual or more social focused societies are quite French centric. But really, there's nothing stopping you from creating your own society if you see that there's one that you want to create and if you have an idea. The HEC Student Affairs Office is extremely supportive to students who are looking to create their own societies. This is one topic that I might make a video on in the future with more details, so stay tuned for that. The second question is about what to expect about the residences on HEC Paris and what's the difference between lively and non-lively if you've all got that email recently. So, on campus, you have the T1 rooms, you have the M1/L1 rooms, and you have the rooms in the AP buildings. Personally, I highly recommend you to choose the T1 rooms because I had a room like that in my first year and I absolutely loved it. They're the newest rooms available, they've been recently renovated, they have a small kitchenette, they have a bathroom, and they have even a balcony in the room itself. Aside from that, you also have a big desk which is right in front of a big window, and that's just absolutely amazing. The M1 or L1 rooms are much older and they were initially intended to be shared by 2 people, so you're gonna have a bunk bed, I think, which is quite unnecessary. These rooms also don't have a kitchenette as far as I know. At least they didn't in my M1 year. And that kind of sucks. But you do have a laundry room in the building itself, and that's kind of like a plus point. The AP buildings are in one far off corner in the campus. But other than that, they look quite good. There's a large common kitchen in every AP building, and that's quite cool. And they also have a laundry room in the building itself. The T1 room residents don't have a laundry room in the building, so you have to haul your laundry into one of the AP buildings or the M1 or L1 building to do your laundry. Minor inconvenience, but all things considered, I still would recommend you to choose the T1 room if you can. The T1 PMR rooms are meant for people who have special needs. So they're much larger and the bathroom is much larger as well. They're also more expensive for that reason. So unless you have special needs for which you really require one of those rooms, I would not recommend you to choose them. The option of lively versus non-lively is not one that I had in the M1 year, and I'm really quite happy to see it this time. I did write to the resident service to ask them about it, and they said that lively rooms are going to be much closer to, for example, the sports building or the student restaurant. So they're going to have a lot more people walking around outside, making them a bit more noisy than the other rooms. The non-lively rooms will be in buildings which are a bit away from student amenities like the restaurant or the sports building. But to be honest, the campus is not really that huge that it's a huge inconvenience to be a little bit away from the restaurant. I think an extra 5-minute walk is not really a big deal. Also, the resident service told me that they're going to be putting students who chose the lively option and the non-lively option together, next to each other when they assign the rooms. And this is so that you're not stuck on a floor filled with party animals if you're a more quiet person like myself. And also the other way around, because you don't want to be someone who really likes a lively atmosphere when everyone else is really quiet and doesn't do anything. The third question is about why I switched from engineering to management and whether that's something that was asked in my interview. So personally, I switched from computer science to management because I gained a really large interest in marketing during my bachelor's. I don't believe they asked me this in my interview, but this is a question that they can ask you, and I think you should have a really good reason for that. The fourth question is about whether studying abroad is better than studying in India and why you should study abroad. You know what? I think that's a great question. And my next video on this channel is actually going to be dedicated to this. So hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss that. While you're at it, you can also give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and click on any of these two videos because I think they might help you out as well. See you guys in the next one. Bye.